What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part 4 of our Nationalist China playthrough. In the last part, we went ahead and finished off Xinjiang. We followed the focus tree, and they just submitted to us. So now we have pretty much all the warlords taken care of. The only parts of China we have not yet taken back is actually the areas owned by Japan. So right now, I have still not decided whether or not I want to go after Japan or if I'd rather look for an alliance with them. It looks like they might be getting ready to have a democratic civil war, actually. If that is the case, then I think I'll wait until that pops up. And when it does, I'll declare war on the authoritarian side or whichever one of these smaller puppets are going to be back to. They actually might break free in the case of a civil war. So we'll wait and see. We'll figure out what goes on there. We're currently justifying on Indochina. In the last video, I believe I said that fascism was going to win out over here in Europe. After looking at the state of the war, I'm actually kind of questioning that. Poland is got Romania on his side, and Czechoslovakia is in with the Northern Lights. Now, of course, they are, I think they're the Northern Lights anyways. Yes, they are. Denmark has already pretty much fallen. Norway is also being invaded currently by the Netherlands, fascist Netherlands. So I suppose we'll have to see, but this is a lot for the Germans to take on their own. And as you can see, they've lost land up here in the north of Poland. So if the Germans are actually losing this war, that gives me reason to have doubt as to whether or not I want to go after Indochina like this. So I actually may justify the war goal and wait until I can move down to the overturn the unequal treaties in the hopes that they'll just cede the land. Because the last thing I need to do is get into a war in which I won't be able to get a peace deal for. And if I go to a war with Indochina and they join Poland and Romania, then I certainly won't be able to get a peace deal very quickly, if at all. Getting over there and fighting in Europe is going to be nigh impossible. So we've got some thinking to do here as to whether or not I want to continue with my current plan to go after Indochina. I think right now the best idea is to lie low until we're ready to go after Japan. Of course, if they go into I must have been looking at the wrong person. My apologies. Japan is not going into a civil war. One of their puppets is going democratic. So I think maybe going after Japan is the better option. There's still the concern that they might join the Polish team. So we'll see. Let's just give it some time. I may end up cutting some parts here just because there's not a whole lot going on. We research small arms. Okay, I say that and then we get 2 pop-ups right away. Yeah, there's not a ton going on right now. I think I'm probably going to take the ahead of time penalty and research ammunition 40. What are my guns at? We're at 30,000 extra. That is plenty. We're going to switch to small arm 39. We lose our production efficiency, but we're going to start replacing our old guns with these newer models, which is always good. We've started to research planes. Construction 3 is just finished as well. I have to decide. I think torpedo bombers are, they're for attacking ships, and that could be very useful. So I'm going to go ahead and research torpedo bombers, actually. And we're going to go ahead and do excavation 3. It's always important to keep up with your industry techs. One of the most important sections in the game, in my opinion. It still says we're doing outdated equipment. Our fighters, right. So we're producing a little more modern fighters, but I'm also not focusing on the Air Force very much. So we're going to continue down our focus tree here, continuing the people's tutelage. War against Indochina, blah, 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 blah. It'll take a while to get down this portion of the focus tree. So, but by the time we finish it, we will have a lot of bonuses going towards both our army and our industry that are going to help out a lot. Things like the plus 10% factory output are going to be great. Centralizing power is going to give us more political power gain. And then obviously overturn the unequal treaties is going to allow us to go after the... hopefully it'll allow us to reclaim these lands in Indochina, but also allow us to take back those ports from Great Britain and the Portuguese. I'm not overly concerned about those, though. I don't believe they have a whole lot to offer. Let's see if I can see. It's only got 5. Yeah. It says this doesn't even have any unlocked slots. No, we have no intel. My apologies. So it doesn't. There's not a whole lot there. I mean, the extra ports would be nice, but they're not super necessary. Also, I didn't realize. Oh, you know what? I bet you this is the port. This is what that focus tree is for, actually. I bet you that's what it's for, not actual Indochina. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. We'll roll with it. We'll see what happens. We're building a lot of civilian factories still. Trying to continue to up our civilian factories. I'm aiming for about 100 civilian factories, and then I'm going to start churning out some military factories to help keep up with our demand for things. We need to make sure we have plenty of military factories to continue. Oh, Kingdom of Hungary joins the Axis. To continue producing things for our ever-growing military. We are at 830,000 manpower in the field right now, and we're still training. Oh my. What do we got going on over here? Bulgaria is in a civil war and also is fighting Yugoslavia? No. Maybe. No, they're just fighting each other. So it's authoritarian versus authoritarian. This must be a focus tree related thing. I can't imagine this is just popping up for no reason. So we're at 59% world tension. Things are going to get harder to do without causing bigger issues now. So we finished justification for Indochina. The question is, do we continue? Do we go for it? Because on one hand, if they don't join anybody, we're gaining a good chunk of land and we get some more resources. On the other hand, if they join somebody, this could drag us into a conflict that we might not be able to get out of. It looks like Germany is pushing on Poland a little, but at the same time, they've gotten pushed back here in Denmark. Yeah, the Axis is not doing all that well, actually. So I think this is reason enough for me to actually not go to war with Indochina. Because the last thing I want to happen is I really, really do not want to get dragged into a war against Poland and Romania because they decide to join. So I think I'm going to not go ahead and do that, despite the fact that I took the time to make the claim. I don't think it's in my best interest to go against them at the moment. What is in my best interest, though, is ore deposits. So we're going to do that, and then let's look at our government real quick. Let's see here. What do we want to add? Actually, let's add the war industrialist right now, because that'll give us the extra build speed for military factories, which very soon are going to make up the majority of what we're building. We also began making support equipment, just because we can, and it will become useful eventually. It's not super useful right now, but eventually we will be able to use that. Either put engineering companies, field hospitals, recon companies, whatever the resource-based one is. Any of those would be good additions to our units eventually. I am curious, if I were to edit this and I were to up it to a 20 width division, what would that cost us infantry equipment wise? We would be in the negative 21,000 infantry equipment. Now, if I was going to do that, I probably should have done that before I swapped to the new infantry equipment, so I'm not going to do it quite yet. But getting 20 width infantry is going to help a lot here eventually, especially against Japan. Though, in general, the attitude towards our chances in Japan are not that negative. My generals seem to think we have a decent shot at taking some land here. And like I said, once we kick them off the mainland, then Japan pretty much just gives up. So if we can get Japan off of our mainland, then we're going to have a much easier time in general, because we'll have China completely united, and at that point I'm pretty sure Japan actually goes into a civil war. So more or less they won't be a threat any longer. Oh my, I think Czechoslovakia has taken lands over here. So that is, yeah, like I think I made a good call not getting involved, or not risking getting involved over here yet. Now, with that said, going after Japan is going to have its own implications, because being on a line, they have reason to join the Polish faction. Now, they wouldn't let me in. The non-aligned is a big no-no for them. Also, South America is still blowing up, and I find that hilarious. I don't think they would let Japan in, so I think going after Japan, I'd be safe. Let's see here. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and get the factory output first. All right, we've got the first torpedo bombers. We're gonna research the next ones too. Finished excavation 3. We still got quite the ahead of time penalty for that. Engineering wise, what are we looking at? That's manageable. It's gonna take quite a while though. All right, we got more troops coming out. So we are going to go ahead and form another army. Assign them. Let's see, what are we going to do? I'd put them here, but I'd be worried about our supply running out. I guess I can check real quick over here. I'm going to slow it down so it's not lagging so bad. Oh, we got quite a bit of supply right there. So let's stick them on there and just see what it does. Yeah, okay. And we got free civilian factories. What are we at? We have 104 civilian factories. So at this point, I am going to switch over and start building military factories. That way we can work on bolstering our production up, and hopefully we can use some of these new military factories to start bolstering our Air Force, because that is going to be a significant downside to our militaries. You see, we got quite a few civilian factories building things now, which is lovely. There's our industry improvement. We're doing great on getting things back to normal. Let's see here. What are we going to research? Let's go ahead and get that improved artillery. Artillery makes up a big portion of our military. So, all right, let's check the supply in this area. Oh, yeah, we're fine. We are absolutely fine. Definitely just want to be ready, simply because, the Japanese are not to be messed with. I don't know. The biggest downside that I've noticed is that if you fight them early on, their industry is nothing great. They start off with less than like a couple dozen factories, I believe, and for the size of their military, they really can't support it off of that. But now, of course, we're a little bit later in the game, and we have to deal with the fact that the Japanese are probably going to be a little stronger than they would have been at the beginning. So we'll see what things look like when we actually do go to war. I think I've decided I want to go to war with the Japanese, and I'm just going to hope that nobody else gets involved. I think because we're both non-aligned, the chances are pretty high. I don't know, is there a focus tree way for me to go to war with the Japanese? I don't think there is. This is, no. Because I believe somewhere in here you might be able to. And this is all things that we do after we take over all of China, which at this point, all we need are the Japanese puppets. So, see, these are things that have to do with fighting the Japanese. But they aren't actually ways to get to war with Japanese. So I think I need to justify on them in order to start the war. And I tell you what, I think I'm ready to start justifying. We're gonna create a theater here. Just name it. I love creating theaters. I like to keep things organized. Spell theater right. There we go. So the biggest downsides to fighting with Japan are obviously the fact that they have a navy that will kick our butts, and the fact that they also have an air force that will kick our butt. So we kind of have to rely on the fact that we just have so many men to help push us through the Japanese here. Do you have... Yeah, okay, there we go. Where are you at? You should not be in this theater. I'm gonna put you back over there. Okay. Alright, so you two... You should also not be in this theater. Go away. So I have an army here, and I have these two armies on the Japanese border. Got it. Alright, so we are going to draw... we're going to draw the line up here, I think. Because I believe in order to get them off the mainland, you also have to kick them off Korea. But I want to ensure that we get rid of their puppets first. Alright, so this is the other army over here. So we're going to have these guys push to the Korean peninsula. So these guys are going to be responsible for moving straight forward, taking out this chunk of land. And these guys are going to be, the second army, are going to be responsible for pushing out into the right to get down to the Korean peninsula. And once they are down there, that is when I would switch gears and have them push all the way down south to get the Korean peninsula under occupation. All right, and with that, we're actually going to produce torpedo bombers. Now, why am I producing torpedo bombers? I actually read on Reddit that they are comically good at disrupting and destroying ships. And I understand that's what they're used for, but a lot of things are used for very certain, very certain unique situations in this game. But a lot of the times they're just kind of not great because of the fact they're so unique. Well, in this situation, we are so outnumbered and so outgunned in the area of the Navy when compared to the Japanese that we actually can benefit a lot from just being extremely good at taking out their boats. So, not that I expect to navally invade Japan, but the more damage we can cause to their Navy now, the better. So I am going to actually justify on you. So we're going to go ahead and start justifying. If you can't tell already, we're going to war with Japan. I have made my mind up. I am ready to go after the Japanese. Let's get some military high staff here. We got Rommel of the East. That is a very nice bonus right there. I think that's probably what we're going to go with. Despite as good as this guy is, I definitely think this guy is better. We already have a bonus to attack from him, and then as we move along, we'll actually be able to we'll use some of our army experience to get the improvements that we need. I'm gonna have you guys exercise to build some more army experience, because if we can get to 150, we can actually go make the first improvement. So if we get above 149, we can do our first improvement. And Czechoslovakia capitulated. Okay, so Germany seems to have turned things around over here. That's good. That means if Japan does end up joining the Polish team somehow, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And on top of that, I'll get invited to the Axis, which is cool. Until they go to war with the Allies, which includes the United States, and killing the United States late game is dreadful. Now, lucky for us, they are actually not doing all that well right now. Actually, I think, yeah, we've got far more military factories. Well, not far more, but we got a lot more military factories than they do. They have a lot more civilian factories, though. That's what this number right here is what makes the United States as scary as they are, is the fact that they have so many civilian factories. So once they really get that ball rolling, they really become terrifying. We are going to continue to build, and I know I have some seriously good bonuses in these areas right here. I'm actually avoiding building military factories there because eventually I would like to fill this area with naval dockyards. And I know that that's a very long way out, and like looking in the short term, I should probably just focus on the fact that I need more military factories quickly. But I'm gonna make the risky decision. I'm gonna hold off on building them there. And I'm going to build them in other places where I have decent bonuses, like right here. I didn't even realize I had this place. We're going to push that up, actually. 80%. That'll get done a lot faster. I'm going to push that up to right there. It's very late game that it'll make a difference, but building a lot of dockyards along the coast that will enable us to eventually build up a navy that might be able to rival that of some of the great powers, depending on what happens with them. If Germany continues to go the way they go, like if they're able to beat the communists, then I think the Axis might be able to take over the United Kingdom. Of course, Germany is almost certainly going to end up going to war with France through its focus tree. Once that happens, it's going to call on the Soviet Union. I could easily see Germany getting crushed once they do that. So, we'll see. It's quite funny how much what the AI is doing in Europe affects how your game goes anywhere else in the world. I mean, even if I was playing Brazil, what the AI does in Europe is going to change how I play the game. Because if I'm going fast as Brazil and Germany's getting its butt kicked, that's going to affect how likely I am to just go off and declare wars. Because if Germany's getting its butt kicked and somebody joins a war that I don't want to be a part, or joins a faction I don't want to face, I'm not going to have that support there because Germany got their butt kicked. So, but luckily for us, I suppose luckily for us, Germany's doing pretty well. I'm more likely to ally with Germany than I am any of the other countries. The Soviets really don't like me anyways, so no big loss there. At least I'm pretty sure. They're not bad. They don't hate me as much as I thought they would. You know who does hate me? Apparently Indochina does, because I hold their core provinces. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not giving them up. Okay, this is probably going to be a longer episode. I think what I might do is I might cut it right here, and we'll jump back in when we're ready to go to war with Japan. So, the justification is done against the Japan's puppet here, and I was getting ready to start recording and declare the war, and this happened. Japan joined the Axis, which obviously has some implications for me. With the Axis dominating in Europe, if I go to war with Japan, now I have to worry about finishing off the Axis, and right now I don't see any sign that the Axis is going to be stopped. Side note, Japan is doing preemptive war, which gives them an annex war goal against the Soviet Union. If they were to do this, then I could join in on that war, and I would get invited into the Axis. So what I'm going to do, just for you know, shits and giggles, have you, is I'm going to justify Mongolia. And if the Soviet Union goes to war with Japan, then I would much rather be there and ready to take part in the invasion of the Soviet Union than have to sit there and get get nothing out of, wishing I could attack Japan. So we're going to reassign this border just a little bit. I'm gonna pull these guys out of here. And I'm gonna send them up to this border. I'm not sure why it's not letting me assign. There it goes, okay. There. Alright, now we've got 2 full armies on the Mongolian border here. We're going to make a new theater with these guys. We're just going to keep it organized. Name them Mongolia. Let time continue marching on. We're going to set a battle plan here. I could put them under a field marshal. In fact, I think I might. Let's go ahead and do that. Because we get Chiang Kai-shek as our field marshal, which is lovely. Of course, we don't get any upgrades quite yet. We might, yeah, this guy's got some upgrades. Infantry expert for sure. Not changing the insignia. This guy... Now, marching into the Soviet Union is going to be easier said than done. But I actually think I might not do it like that. Where are these divisions at? You're going to go ahead and you're going to move up to this border, the Soviets. And you're going to sit there for now, just because I don't know which way this is going to go yet. So, with this realignment focusing on the Soviets, we're going to have to take a different approach, because I just can't go to war with Japan while they're in the Axis. Okay, well, the Soviets went to war with the Northern Lights as well. Ireland joined the Allies for some reason. Don't know why that happened. I guess it's because world tension shot up more. Not sure. I guess the Soviet Union shot it up enough to where they could join. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end it here, I guess. I apologize that there was nothing extremely exciting in this video. I really was gonna go to war with Japan. I was gonna take my land back from them, but I can't. They're in the Axis now, and that's just not something I can afford to go to war with right now. So we'll see what happens in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.